This is the Old Musician's Blog, number 25. I think I'll just sit here for a few minutes in this nice bentwood rocking chair and talk for want of anything better to do. Well, what am I going to talk about? I don't know. I could talk about anything that comes into my freaking head because, it's not like anybody's sitting there saying, you got to get 400 likes off of this, or, somebody better repost it, or, maybe you can make a living if you do it this way, or want to do it that way, or something else, because none of that matters, ultimately. And what does matter? Well, I don't really know what matters, I suppose it's, the experience in the moment. That's, the only thing that seems to be real when you come right down to it. And, maybe there's things that seem that like they matter, like, boy, we were trying to get our taxes in the mail this morning, and the printer wouldn't work, and, the computers wouldn't interface, and the drivers were screwed up, and this and that and the other thing, and on and on and on it went. And I mean, it was quite a discussion just to talk about it, never mind think about it or, do anything about it. But eventually the printer worked. That was amazing enough in itself. We got all of that stuff got off, and it's done now, at least for, the present thing that you have to do about it, the present moment's worth of stuff, and the obvious next thing, as some people call it, and that's always a good thing to be doing, is the obvious next thing. That's the kind of I suppose that's a Buddhist practice, is it? But whichever practice it is, it's one of those things where, yes, the obvious next thing, and it's kind of like, well, the water still needs to be carried and the wood still needs to be split, regardless of what happened before or after. And, neither of us, that's, my wife and I, who I talk about as the royal we, neither of us have been feeling that great, the last few days. And, I thought I was kind of over the headache part of this thing, and then headache came back, and so I didn't feel very good at night. I don't think I sleep so good when my head's aching, because what happens is that I'm kind of under tension. I have this tension in my body the whole night, and and that's it never when finally the headache goes away, which it did after I took some of this ginseng, which was really seemed to work for me, at least that time. When I took that, it diminished, and I feel pretty good right at the moment, but I also feel kind of tired because I'm worn out from the tension. And I think that's one thing about tension. There's, I think, a certain amount of tension. Sure, it's good, but too much tension, and it kind of drags you down. So, there's this place, there's this edge, that you're constantly finding, in all things, in life, in music, in any kind of creative endeavor. You have to walk the edge. You walk too far over onto the edge, and you fall off, and then you have to kind of get back on and try to figure it out again. If you don't go far enough, close enough to the edge, it's not interesting. It's too easy. It becomes boring after a while, and so you're finding constantly working the edge. I think that's one thing that artists of all different kinds do, is they find the edge of their ability, and then they walk the edge. They try to stay as close onto the razor's edge as they can possibly be, and that edge gives the life and the meaning, and the purpose and to the endeavor. If that's the reality, if the reality of what we see and feel and hear, is what is really real, and this reality is the thing, is the it, But, it's quite possible that, that's not the case, that, it's just it is just a doorway. And the doorway looks beyond into some other endeavor, place, zone of reality where, maybe nothing is the reality. Maybe everything is the reality. Maybe it's a different form of reality where the unseen and the seen, merge together, and you have different kinds of beings and relative. It's like a cartoon show, where everything that you see around you is full of life of other kinds that are beyond our perception, or beyond our ken, or beyond our knowingness from this zone of, what is it? It's a zone of beingness that we are existing in right now.